Hello everyone and welcome to General Hospital at Night. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. Tomorrow is going to be a late upload as well. Probably not as late as this, but who knows? It's still up in the air, but let's get right to it. So at the park, because we're outside again, Jason is going to find out what happened to Nicholas before the cops can pin it on him. And Sam wants to come along and Jason's like, no. But he doesn't want her to risk charges against her, but she insists that she'll be fine and Danny can stay at the Quartermains. At the hospital, Nathan wakes up with a jolt. Maxie's there. And apparently he was talking in his sleep about a shooting. So he says he can't remember his dream. Maxie says he can talk about what's bothering him. And he's like, it was just a dream. Nothing's bothering me. And she wants to show him pictures from the nurse's ball. So Nathan wants to know why she's with his doctor. And she's like, it's fine. And plus, he's a priest. Like, he's a priest? Yeah, he's a priest. And Priest Griffin comes in. And Nathan can be discharged. Yay! But Griffin just needs to do a final check on him. And Maxie's going to start the paperwork. And Griffin thinks that Nathan is holding back. So, Griffin starts to talk about how platonic the nurse's ball was, and Nathan's like, yeah, that's fine. I want to talk to you about something that's weighing on my conscience. And apparently he's been lying to Maxie, and he asked for advice, and I was like, this is interesting. Also at the hospital, elsewhere, Carly arrives. She and Bobby are talking, and Obrecht interrupts to tell her to talk to Dr. Finn. So Monica comes over to give them some real information, and Bobby's gonna go see Lucas, and Carly wants to hear from Obrecht her accusations. And Monica mentions the elevated levels of the muscle relaxer that he was injected with, and Carly hadn't realized that Lucas was attacked, that this didn't just happen out of nowhere. So Obrecht brings up snooping around the medical records that Carly and Dr. Finn did, that Dr. Finn's not afraid to go outside the law, but technically Carly is the one who snooped around the medical records. But anyway, and then Carly brings up how Obrecht drugged and kind of held Duke Lavery hostage, and Monica tells her that 2 other patients died under suspicious circumstances and under Dr. Finn's care. Obrecht adds that in, but Carly isn't having it, and Obrecht says Lucas might not have been the intended target. Dun dun dun. So Obrecht says she talked to a higher up from Dr. Finn's former place of employment, and apparently he left under suspicious circumstances, and there was a rumor of drug addiction. Ooh, a rumor. Because, as we all know, rumors are definitely true. So Jason and Sam show up. Monica, Sam, and Jason talk about, Windermere, Nicholas, and Lucas, and Sam leaves, and Jason wants to talk to Monica about Danny. Maxie wants to talk to Sam, and she fires her. It sounded a little harsh, but the basic deal of it is Maxie decides to put the Claudette thing behind her after almost losing Nathan. Carly gets a text that seems to upset her. Jason comes over and she says it's been a bad day, him too, and she wants him to know that he can call her if he needs anything. Monica is more than happy to take Danny, and Sam thanks her. Carly overhears Obrecht on the phone with the records room, and she remembers the syringe that Dr. Finn had, and she's starting to not like what she's thinking, I think. So Nathan needs to tell someone what's weighing on his mind, and admit that he's been carrying something around with him, but not necessarily confess what that something is, just that there is something on his mind. And Maxie comes in. Griffin gives the go-ahead for a discharge. Maxie wants him in alone with Griffin, and she thanks him for escorting her to the nurse's ball and for saving Nathan's life, and he kind of brushes her off a little bit. Monica tells Obrecht to be more subtle when talking about suspicions with a patient's family, and Obrecht feels that Dr. Finn is deeply troubled. I mean, it takes one to know one, so, there's that. And Carly's having a hard time processing everything, as all Carlys are at the moment, I'm gonna be honest with you. At Windermere, Dr. Finn comes over, and Hayden tells him that her husband is missing, so it's not a good time. But he was going to leave, but Hayden wants to know, like, why he made the trek out there. And he gives the check back, and she wants to know why he gave it to her in the person. Like, he could have just mailed it back, but he wanted to see her. So Dr. Finn, apologizes to Hayden for blaming her for her father's activities. He tells her about the foundation that he had mentioned before, and that it was made to help cure a disease that killed a lot of people, including his wife. And his wife wouldn't have wanted him to take the check, and it's her birthday, by the way, like, that's why this is all coming up right now. And he wants to leave, but then he starts to collapse, so that's not good. So okay, is it possible that he also has, like, this mystery disease, and that's what the injections are for, and, like, that's whatever the foundation was able to muster before it ran out of money? That's my thought process right now. So Hayden wants to call an ambulance. He says he's fine, and he makes his sarcastically funny remarks, and then she's, like, pretty sarcastically funny, and they're, like, sarcastically funny together, and I'm like, huh, I don't know. I'm not shipping it, but I'm not hating it, you know? So he hands her the syringe pack and asks her to hand him what's inside, and I'm like, oh, like, that's something. And he tells her it's for diabetes, thanks her for her discretion, and as part of making amends, you know, pretends she never saw this, which isn't sketchy at all. But then she's like, oh, I'm gonna post it on YouTube. But it's, like, funny. Like, we saw kind of a different side of Hayden, a Hayden that's not being, you know, berated, yelled at, this, that, and the other. Like she's just kind of being herself, and she's not being vindictive. Like, oh no, I liked what I saw of Hayden today, is basically what I'm trying to say. At the police station, Elizabeth has information for Jordan, and she implicates Hayden, and Elizabeth tells her about the diamonds, and I'm like, Hayden didn't know you knew about the diamonds. So they're registered and traceable. And that Nicholas found the diamonds and sold one, and Hayden was furious when she found out, and Jordan wants to know why Elizabeth is involving herself at all. So Elizabeth wants Hayden away from Spencer, and she knows that they're looking at Jason, and she wants the police to have all the information before they, like, come to a conclusion. And Elizabeth wants whoever hurt Nicholas to pay, and she is steadfast that Jason didn't do this. And Jordan tells Elizabeth that Hayden has an alibi and Jason doesn't. And apparently Jordan isn't going to investigate Hayden because she couldn't have committed it. I'm like, really? You couldn't even give a few minutes to look into it? But then I was like, you know what? I'm underestimating Jordan, and I'm not going to do that. And Elizabeth gets a call from Jason, more below. So at a safe house, Sam and Jason arrive there. There's some information about how they got the safe house. I missed that part, but they're at the safe house. That's the important thing. So he remembers he needs to call Elizabeth because he was supposed to see Jake tonight. He calls her. He can't say where he is, and she wants him not to make it worse for himself. And, like, don't run. And he's like, don't worry about it. So he and Sam go through the timeline with post-it notes on the wall, and I was like, a couple after my own heart, right? So Jason is bothered that the sounds in the room didn't sound like a fight. Like, it just sounded like furniture shifting. Back at Windermere, Elizabeth comes to pick up her stuff. So, end scene, woo! Jason draws out a kind of a landscape of the room, and something doesn't feel right. It's too late for this. And he feels like it was staged, and I was like, yes, we're getting somewhere. Jordan comes over to Windermere, and she wants to ask some questions about Nicholas, and she says, then I think Jordan mentions the diamonds. I missed, like, a few lines here. Hayden says she doesn't have any diamonds, and, you know, Jordan can talk to the FBI if she has more questions about any of that. And Jordan's like, well, the FBI's already here. And I'm like, oh, see, I did underestimate Jordan. I apologize. Griffin asks for guidance, and Nathan, you know, he feels Nathan has been put in his path, and he doesn't understand why. Maxie is excited to plan the wedding. Nathan says they need to talk. He needs to tell her something. I'm like, this is never good. Dr. Finn is in the chapel. Carly sees him. He's glad to see her. He asks about Lucas. She wants to talk about his diabetes and what she caught him shooting up, and she knows he's been lying. So that is it for today's General Hospital recap. You don't forget to vote for Character of the Week, and I will see you tomorrow late again for more General Hospital. I hope you have a good day. Bye!